Pride parades are a big part of the LGBT community in general. They celebrate them a lot during this month to varying reactions from people online. Are they overreacting, or is there merit to what seems like madness? Let's find out. So I'm not a fan of pride parades for a multitude of reasons I'm not going to get into here yet. But I do want to start out by bringing up one really important reason: the sexualization, especially when it is involving or in the presence of kids. Now, whenever I think of twerking, I have never in my entire life thought that it was appropriate for little kids, not even for a single moment of time. That's because, in this sense, I am actually considered normal. Shocker, I know. Another thing I've never thought in my entire life is that kids need to be exposed to provocative dances, BDSM gear, adult nudity, the list goes on. Again, this shouldn't be up for debate, and yet it is. These parades are a reason for that. Many people in the LGBT+ community have a fascination with children, threatening to turn your kids gay.
It's not a choice. We are not asking you. We are telling you we will turn your kid gay.
Give them puberty blockers and hormones behind your back called pink pilling.
Chloe has also referenced minors in relation to an act known as pink pilling, the act of convincing someone that they are trans on multiple occasions. Pink pilling minors is based, actually, if they reach out and express a desire for HRT. I have unironically pink pilled like half a dozen minors, and by pink pill, I mean point them to HRT resources after they reach out.
Could you imagine if Finster is your fucking estrogen provider? I'm working on that.
Talk about not so secret gay agendas.
Like, not at all secret gay agenda.
Straight up address kids in their videos, tell kids to message them, etc. It's especially prevalent on apps such as TikTok, but I won't show many examples here to avoid giving them any attention, given that's what most of them want. Maybe one day I'll call them out specifically if I feel like I can do so in a way that's a warning of them and may drive people away from them, but I guess we'll see. These bad apples make the rest of these non-straight people look very, very bad. They set a poor example, influence bias, set off parental instincts, and drive a narrative of separation between the community and those that aren't a part of it. These pride parades have the same effect. They are dramatic, over-sexualized, flamboyant displays that reinforce negative stereotypes within the community that celebrates it. That fact is why people that the parades are for, that I have talked to, also hate the events. They are even causing a divide within the very community that they're supposed to celebrate. So why still have them? That's what I'm trying to find out. I've been told by said friends that the parades began as a way to showcase that those involved have came out and are to be accepted. They are supposed to be a representation of free love and acceptance for all. So why then are they so focused on sex? Sex isn't the basis of love. If it was, then it would be excluding asexual people, correct? So tell me, why is the parade focused so strongly on lust, and what does that focus have to do with kids? Well, unless you're one of the freaks trying to normalize an attraction to minors, then your response was hopefully that it should have nothing to do with children. I'm just going to assume that that's what you believe. Good, moving on. So if we agree that kids shouldn't be sexualized, then why can't we agree that they shouldn't be in settings where sexualization occurs? Why can't we agree that places filled with nude and sexually charged strangers is not a safe environment for a child to be? In order to justify kids being in this situation, I've been told that kids need to be there in order for them to not hurt or off themselves. This is a manipulative tactic trying to not only appeal to your emotions, but to guilt you as well.
This is in the exceptions paragraph. So like, you can still get these drugs, but only if you're not transgender. So anyway, a bunch of kids are gonna die, which is really fun.
Saying that the kids at this pride parade would self-harm if they weren't there is crazy. I don't think there's a single documented case of this outcome, and anyone that says otherwise are honestly just terrible people using the lives of kids to fuel their agenda. Saying that trans kids exist and need to reveal themselves is crazy too. Kids shouldn't be allowed to transition as minors, period. That actually used to be a defense from the side that gave kids puberty blockers by saying they aren't permanent, even though the effects are, don't get me wrong, but this is undoubtedly permanent. and it should absolutely be charged as child abuse if you allow this to happen to your child, especially if you influence or decide to support it, promote it, or bring it to their attention as an idea to begin with. Allowing that same child to show themselves off like this to the applause of strangers should be child endangerment. You don't know these people, you don't know their mindset, but you do know that it's an overly sexualized event filled with people acting like horn dogs. You know that people in your community tried to normalize the terminology of maps. You do know that this video will be posted online for creeps around the world to see as a celebration of this event, an event that they shouldn't be a part of to begin with. If you try to argue that kids aren't the intended audience for these events and aren't wanted there by the people involved either, besides the hype they gave a kid for getting her breast removed before she's able to truly comprehend the long-term ramifications of such action, they also have straight up put pride parades within a preschool show, talking about different genders and sexualities in the form of a song, preaching these things to them while they are in a developmental stage where they aren't supposed to have to understand them. Preschool age kids shouldn't have to focus on sexuality at all, actually, and it's crazy to me how little people are bothered by this. I could go into psychological terminology, bring up Piaget or Vygotsky, use it to further my point in why this age demographic doesn't deserve to be involved in this madness, but I've made another video where I've done that over on Nerdsfeed, so I'll link that here instead. If you want me to go over it and more again though, let me know, and I'll definitely make another video on the psychological perspective regarding the matter. We'll see what the future holds. Now let's stray away from the kids for a minute, just like the people that attend these events should do, and talk about how this has the opposite effect of the one that most people in the community claim to want. Normalization. This normalizes nothing. In fact, it makes a spectacle of the very thing you want to be accepted as normal, making it abnormal in the process. Straight people don't have parades. We don't walk around naked around kids in the middle of the street or in BDSM gear or half bare doing provocative dances, nothing of that caliber. We don't make our sexuality out to be some kind of achievement. We don't make it our entire personality, and we definitely don't use it to get away with committing what should be crimes, like public indecency for example. If you want to be normalized as something that is normal, you kind of have to act normal as well. No extravagant public displays of indecency, no flamboyant flaunting that fits stereotypes that people have been trying to break for years, and most importantly, no being so self-centered that you don't see why people may have a problem with your actions without them being hateful. Calling people every phobic under the sun the moment they disagree with you is definitely not a step towards normalizing your identity or sexuality. It just causes more separation instead. I have never, in any seriousness, called someone heterophobic for disagreeing with any of my beliefs. You want to seem normal? Then don't do the same, but with whatever your sexuality or identity is. It's rather simple, honestly. Just be a decent person. The defense of this bunch of parades is one thing that causes people to act like fools, insulting people, bringing up the obics, and calling everyone who is against them and their vulgarity bigots. Even people who are in their community that speak out get the same treatment. Gays Against Groomers is a prime example of that. They get alienated and attacked for their disdain of things that could and do harm kids and others, a noble cause that they get ostracized for on the regular. It could also have the potential effect of turning away people that could otherwise find community in your so-called community if it never took place. People that are uncomfortable with the actions that take place within the parade, as well as the actions from the people within the community as a whole. Take this comment for example. I'll just go ahead and read it to you. It says, "Brother, I hate to say it, but that's literally the community. I don't even tell people I'm bi because the LGBT community have ruined it for everyone. Forced month, forced inclusivity, making straight characters gay for God knows why. I would rather everyone in my life think I'm straight until I die than ever come out. And not because I don't want people to know, but because I'm so disgusted with the LGBT community and I never ever want to be associated with them ever. Also, screw Pride Month. That is trash. It's just an excuse for companies to make bank off a bunch of gay idiots." Which is honestly true. This whole Pride Parade stuff, these Pride flags, the Pride merch, is just an excuse to get more money out of people that want to rep it. That's not something I'm here to discuss, but it is a fact that I guess I should bring up. For the rest of the comment though, if you're willing to act so horrendously, especially in public displays, then people who value their dignity and decency are going to be turned away by your actions. In an attempt to convince people that it's safe for them to come out, in a parade that is supposed to exemplify that, you are causing people to decide that coming out would be more embarrassing, more damaging than never doing so. I am very obviously not in support of the LGBT community. I'm a Christian, I view pride in sin as sin itself, but I have nothing but love for the people that's a part of it. If you treat me with respect, then I'll do the same, to the extent that it does not compromise my beliefs, and I would ask that you respect that. If you can, then we're all good, which is why members from the community and people that are grouped into it but don't claim it are willing to speak with me about it. If I'm able to talk to people with respect that I disagree with, then you should be able to do the same. Stop shaming people, labeling people, making people uncomfortable, especially on purpose, and for the love of all things, leave the kids alone. These shouldn't be controversial statements. They should be showcased as common sense, as common decency, and yet these parades signify the opposite. They showcase the negative stereotypes associated with the community as a whole. They cause visceral reactions from people on both sides. They make a spectacle of things that the people involved want to be normalized, and they further a divide, cause a separation, going against the very idea of being inclusive. Speaking of which, this is your chance to prove that you're capable of being loving in the comments below, or prove what I said in the video to be correct. You can come at this with hostility or with understanding. The choice is entirely up to you. I'll see you in the comments below. Have a great day. Thank you.